Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day today and I hope you're having a great month so far. It's me again, Kemi Oyedepo, and I'm here with the Cpyf for Crisis Proof Your Family tip for this month. So my tip for this month has to do with the importance of communication. Now this tip is not just going to be once because communication is very broad. It has so many different parts to it. So in the next few months, I will bring you other parts that have to do with communication. But today I want to talk about the importance of it. And let me just say, I'm not really just talking about communication, but effective communication, because there's a difference between the two. And communication simply means passing across my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions to somebody else. However, effective communication means that I'm ensuring that the message that is passed across is rightly received and accurately interpreted by the receiver. So you see that there's a difference between the two, because in communicating, all I want to do is just get my feelings out and leave it there. It's done and dusted. However, effective communication takes a bit more time. I will take time to ensure that whatever it is I'm telling the receiver, they understand it and they accurately interpret it. And depending on which one we use, the results of the conversation may be positive or negative. Unfortunately, in many relationships and in many homes, we just tend to communicate, but that will never bring our desired results. So effective communication should always be your goal. Now, when something is effective, it means that it has brought support or it has brought help. So every time you're speaking to whoever you're in courtship with, whoever you're married to, or your family in general, ensure that whatever you're saying is bringing help and support. In fact, the Bible tells us in Ephesians 4:29 that we should not let any corrupt thing come out of our mouths, only words that are good, that edify, and minister grace to the hearer. So each time you communicate, ask yourself, have I ministered grace unto the hearer? I think it would help you. Now, effective communication is actually not something that we're born with. It's a learned skill. And, not many people have it. It's just like I'm talking to you right now. My goal is to effectively communicate with you. I want to make sure that you rightly receive what I'm saying and accurately interpret what I'm saying. Not many people can do that. So it is a skill and it's something that we have to consciously develop ourselves in if we want to get the desired results. Now, I'm going to speak to you about what effective communication is not, because I think that is the beginning of understanding what effective communication is. Number one thing that effective communication is not is arguing. Did you hear that? Arguing. I know you've been told by everybody that arguing is a part of marriage and family. Absolutely false. In fact, the definition of arguing is the exchange of diverging or opposite views, usually in a heated or angry manner. Now, tell me what good can come out of that. If you are having an argument with somebody, you are heated, you're angry about it, no good can ever come out of that kind of conversation. Arguing only keeps both people further apart. So arguing is not effective communication. Don't accept it as normal in your relationship and in your marriage. Number two, assumptions. Assumptions is not effective communication. Don't just assume your husband should know this or your wife should know that. Talk about it. Assumptions will only bring frustration. Talk about it. When you talk about it, when you effectively communicate, there will be no room for assumptions. There will be no room for confusion. So every time you sit down and have a conversation, ensure that both of you leave the table with the same mental picture of what you've discussed. Number three, yelling or shouting is not effective communication at all. In fact, when you begin to raise your voice at somebody, the essence of communication is lost. It goes out the window. So every time you want to have a conversation, put your body under, have self-control, sit down and talk about it. One thing I've learned is that many people in relationships and in their marriages don't know how to control themselves, but when they go to work, they automatically know how to control themselves. Isn't that weird? When they are in their office space, things are happening that they don't like. They are able to control themselves. They don't shout, they don't yell, they talk to everybody with respect. So why can't they do it at home? Why can't you do it with your whoever you're in courtship with? Why can't you do it with your spouse? Why can't you do it with your children? You can do it, but we have to make a choice to ensure that we are not yelling, raising our voices at each other. When you begin to raise your voice at your spouse or whoever else, that person becomes defensive, and the essence of communication becomes completely lost. Now, those three things are what effective communication is not. I'll give you a fourth one: malice or silent treatment. That is not effective communication. It does your relationship, it does your family absolutely no good. You must talk about things. If you're going to move forward in your relationship, talking is a must. So don't have the attitude that if your spouse or whoever else says something you don't like, you automatically stop speaking to them and think that, oh, everything will just fall back in place. It will never fall back in place. It will be staring at you in the face until you're ready to address it. So arguing, assumptions, yelling or shouting, and the silent treatment or malice. Those four not effective in any way, shape, or form. I know you've been told otherwise. I know you've been told it's a part of marriage, it must come along with relationships and all that, but that's a lie from the pit of hell. As long as we're using the Word of God as our guide, then everything that we say to one another should always minister grace. Always remember that. Minister grace. So even when you're rebuking, even when you're correcting, even when you're letting the person know you're offended or you didn't like what they did, ensure that it is still ministering grace. Ensure that the words you're using are still edifying. So that's my tip for you this month. Effective communication. Like I said, it's in various parts, so I will still come back to you with different areas that have to do with effective communication. But so far, I am sure that something has helped you from what you've just heard. As always, send me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. cpyfamily@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram at cpyfamily. Facebook, Crisis Proof Your Family. Share the page and like the page. Most importantly, that blog, www.crisisproofyourfamilyblog.com. God bless you. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.